Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brian, if it's okay with you, we're going to go right to Teresa.
Okay.
If that's okay. Stephanie, do you want to introduce her?
This is Teresa Ellis. She's with Bonadio, and they are our auditors, and they've been with us for, oh my gosh, probably over 10 years. And she's here tonight to present our 2024-25 audit.
Thank you, Stephanie. So like you said, my name is Teresa Ellis. I'm your external auditor from Bonadio. I'm also the audit supervisor on the engagement. We recently completed the audit and went over the audit results in detail with your audit committee. I'm here tonight to go over a very high-level summarized version of the audit results and answer any questions that you may have. First, I'd like to thank Stephanie and Wayne and the rest of the business office for all of their assistance during the audit. They were very responsive to our requests and well prepared to ensure a smooth audit. There are 4 deliverables that we provided to you. The first is your financial statements. The second is your audit of the extra classroom financial statements. The third is your required communications letter. And the fourth is the management letter. The district's annual audit of the financial statements includes the independent auditor's opinion on the financial statements, and we are issuing an unmodified opinion on your financial statements. An unmodified opinion is the highest level of assurance an auditor can give you. The other reports that are included in your basic financial statements is the Government Auditing Standards Report. This report requires us to gain an understanding and report on the internal controls over your financial reporting. We noted no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in the financial statements reporting over internal controls. The second part of the report is understanding your compliance with laws, regulations, contract agreements, that non-compliance could lead to a material financial statement impact. We noted no non-compliance. The school district is limited to retaining a 4% of the school's budget in unreserved unappropriated fund balance. The school district is under that limit at 3.86%. We are also issuing the school district's annual audit of the extra classroom financial statements, and we are also issuing an unmodified opinion on that financial statement. Again, an unmodified opinion is the highest level of assurance an auditor can give you. So that's a very high-level review of your audit results. And again, I'd like to thank the business office for all of their assistance throughout the audit, and I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right, back to the top of the agenda. I do need a motion to approve the minutes from the September 18th meeting. Kevin, in a second. Jenna? All right, so moved. Any discussion? Changes? Edits? No. Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Ayes have it. Motion is approved. Turn to Angelina for our superintendent's update.
Yes, good evening, everyone. A couple things I'd like to give an update on. One, I'm going to start with sports numbers. So one of the things that is circulating amongst our community in a worrisome way is just the number of students that are participating in some of our interscholastic athletics. And although over the last 10 to 15 years, we've added some sports, we've added boys and girls lacrosse, we've added indoor track, we've added unified sports, etc. Some of our, I'll say, more traditional or longer standing sports, the numbers are down. And with that being said, I actually wanted to present those not only to the board, but just to the public. Currently, right now, the following are our roster numbers. Modified football has 15. Again, this is a merged sport with Hoosick Falls. Our cheerleading program has 22. We've seen those numbers grow steadily over the years. Cross country, 8. That is also a merged sport. Varsity cross country, 11, merged sport. JV and varsity football. This one is concerning to many people in the community. There's 18. And one of the things that we're grappling with right now is injuries as well for some of the students. This is also a merged team. One thing I will note is when we started the merger, we had the heftier number of students, and it's tipped to the other way now where we have less. Varsity golf, those numbers are actually very high. For many years, we had 1 or 2 kids. This year, you probably remember me mentioning in August or September, we actually had to have cuts. So we're seeing kids go from one type of sport to some other type of sports. So the numbers are down, but they're definitely migrating to different sports. JV and varsity soccer is 30. That's actually quite robust for us. There was many years where we weren't able to have a varsity and a JV. So we're seeing those numbers go up. Modified, that's actually a very robust number compared to the past. So that's good for the future in that program. JV and varsity soccer is 32. That's pretty good. The numbers have been dwindling a little bit there, but that's pretty decent. Modified volleyball is 15, and there were cuts there. You may remember that we had modified A and B for volleyball, and due to budget considerations and some other considerations, we only have one team. And then JV and varsity volleyball at 27. So I just wanted to share those. One of the recommendations, and I'll ask Tammy to opine on this as well. I think it might not be a bad idea for the ad hoc athletic committee to get together and just talk about recruitment and partnerships with some of the youth groups and talk about some of the things that we might be able to do. I have spoken to Paula, who is our new secondary principal, who used to be an athletic director. So she had some ideas as well. We are facing some trends that they're seeing across the nation with football in particular. Those numbers are going down, but we just want to ensure that we've done everything that we can to make sure that there's a place in for kids that want to play football in the future. So any thoughts on that? Or Tammy, do you want to mention anything?
It's concerning, with the football numbers, and there's no modified girls soccer up here. So I would like to have a meeting. I think that we need to invite maybe some coaches to come to
Go
the
ahead,
meeting
Anna.
as well.
Just sit right
I'm sorry, but there is modified girls soccer.
I might have just missed that number.
Okay. All right.
There's modified girls soccer, and I think there's probably 11, there's 11 on the field, 12, there's probably maybe 13 or 14 girls on it. So it's very good.
Excellent, because I know that last year we did not.
That's
have
correct.
Girls
Yeah.
modified soccer, so I just don't want to see, I don't want to see us losing sports in any arena. So I think that the sooner we can get a meeting on the calendar, the better.
Sure.
You had mentioned the shift in balance on the merger side for something like football, for instance. Like, what's that balance look like right now? Of the 18, how many are we fielding from Tamarack?
Overall number
Yeah.
for the whole program, I don't have that right handy, but I can absolutely get that back. I know for a fact they are providing many more players. I want to say they might be closer to 25 as compared to our 18. But don't quote me
Oh,
on
so
that.
those are our.
Yes.
Yeah. Got it.
But again, it's been steadily dwindling. We were hoping to come out of the COVID type thing, and we're just not seeing as many kids. And we're wondering now I'm not affiliated with the Bulldogs, but we do have some contacts there. I'm not sure what those numbers look like to see if they're seeing some of those same trends.
Now, they have about 18 right now that would be able to come over to modify it.
For next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, do you keep them when they come over?
Mm-hmm.
So,
So, just making sure, if there is parent concerns or things like that, to hopefully we can do some parent education, whatever those things are that we can work through that. But I think, as I was mentioning to Tammy, I think an ad hoc committee, just start talking about it would probably be the best way to handle that.
I think also too, we need to get a jump on winter sports. I know that that's hard since we're not in season or, but I think that,
Meaning like in terms of
Like-
registration?
yeah, registration, what are the thoughts, what are the kids talking about,
Yeah.
What are we, because I don't, here we are, October, and, we're just starting to talk about numbers. and the concern.
Winter hasn't been an issue in the past because the teams are smaller for basketball, so there's not as many kids that can go on there. Wrestling's been robust in the past, and then with indoor track, we do notice some kids that used to play some of those other sports finding their way to indoor track. So they're playing. It's just they're moving it. But certainly I think it's worth the conversation and looking at trends over time. The next thing that's on top of mind is the monthly progress report, which I have attached to the board agenda, but I just wanted to go through some key pieces and parts. as I've mentioned before, a lot of the work that's happening, that's really important work, people can't see. They might be able to hear some banging and some things like that, but we've done a lot of boiler work. You might see some of the vehicles and some of the equipment that's outside of the secondary school that's related to putting in the boilers. We actually were able to fire those up today. We had a small leak this morning of the new boilers, but they realized somebody didn't clamp some ends and we were able to quickly fix that. So that's working. We were able to turn the boilers on. We will be able to turn the boilers on tomorrow for both buildings. So that's right in time with the weather starting to get cooler. The athletic field, which is something that's on top of mind for people. You may have noticed if you went here today that there's now a black rubber safety matting there. And for the next 7 days, they will be, a whole crew of people will be laying out the artificial, actually the green artificial turf. And they'll start to stitch that together and connect the draining and all the things and the painting and all the things that go with it. Main office is nearing completion. We're just waiting for the final electrical and HVAC and the data drops and things like that. So you can hook up computers, et cetera there. We have at the elementary school, most of the work there is done. We're just waiting on finishing up the generator. We've got about 20 more days until the generator is done, but we do have a backup plan should there be an emergency where we would need a generator between the time now and the time that the new generator is in there. They're still working on a lot of mechanical work, like we mentioned before, and plumbing and electricity. And then at the bus garage, still the substantial work will occur next year, but we do have those new fuel tanks. If you were to open this up, this is a little bit more comprehensive, more information, and that's labeled there for the public. On the roof for the elementary school, which we still have work going on there, that's substantially done. We're just waiting for the edging and the flashing, which will be hopefully wrapping up very, very shortly. I also would like to take the opportunity to recognize that next week is New York State School Board Recognition Week. And in front of all of our Board of Education members is a certificate with their name on it, except for Jenna. I'm sorry, Jenna. We will work on that for you.
I do have one, it's just somebody else.
And I'm sure they're sad they're not here.
I'm sure.
But I think for people in the audience and the people that are watching online would certainly thank the board members for their service. This is an unpaid job and often comes with a lot of headaches, but they do this because they want to do what's right for kids, and I appreciate their service. And I hope you all would join me in a round of thanks, a round of applause. One thing I wanted to mention about construction, just going back to that, is there's two things that are going on right now related to the field. At the Route 2 soccer field, you'll see that all the several layers of grass and dirt have come up, but they actually found a structure. And that found structure, we believe, is an old portion to the wastewater treatment plant, like a previous iteration of something that was treating water. So we actually have to do a soil and a water test of what they found in this structure. It's like something related to an old septic type system. And if it comes out the way we think it is, meaning no chlorination, meaning it's just old and it's there, we can either crush it, fill it, or remove it. And then work can continue on. It really doesn't delay us in anything. It's not really holding anything else up because they're doing other things, but certainly they weren't expecting to find that. We do have a problem, again, you may have heard me mention it a couple months ago, but the beaver is back. And with all joking aside, the beaver in the dam actually creates several small dams along the stream, and it actually backflows back into the district. So last month we talked about adding additional draining. The additional draining doesn't mean anything if the beaver actually dams up the stream, because it backflows and it doesn't allow anything to offload into the stream. So we're in the process of calling DEC to look for a permit, which we've gotten in the past. That permit will allow us to actually remove, not the beaver, you're not allowed to touch the beaver, but actually the beaver dams. But it's something that's like always a work in progress, but there's more than one dam right now. There's actually several little dams. So all the rain from yesterday filled our new retention pond, filled all the standing water areas, and then just didn't flow anywhere because the way the beaver dam is set. So
This is something we'll have to just continuously have on repeat, remove the dams, remove the dams.
Yeah. It's, to my knowledge, and I don't know what it is, but I think, I know for a fact you can't just move the dams without getting permission because you get a pretty hefty fine, and that's not something that we would want to do, but it's been a perpetual issue over the years.
How quickly do beavers rebuild these dams?
They-
When's the last time we removed them?
Um,
Not that long ago.
not that long ago, but I can tell you for whatever reason, this little beaver has been busy because there's like 3 or 4 small dams, like in a very, very small spot. So
Is it a single beaver or do we have a?
I've not gotten in the water to do that inspection myself, but I'll consider it for tomorrow. Certainly something to do.
Add it to your resume.
I certainly will. It's something, so honestly, fingers crossed that the DEC is really understanding that we're not trying to move the beaver, but we're actually just trying to move that beaver dam, because no amount of drainage will do anything if the beaver dam just makes everything flow back on. And we certainly don't want wetland in that area for sure. Lastly, hiring. You may have heard me talk for the last couple months that we are in search of a part-time special education teacher. One of the things that we're finding, and this is probably not a big surprise to anyone, one, special education teachers are almost impossible to find. Mr. Ferlito is a gem in the wild out here. But certainly people aren't coming for a part-time job. I think we're in the position that unfortunately we may have to take our part-time position, which is about a 3/4 position, and make it full-time and see if we get anybody else. The extra time, the person won't be just sitting around. There's certainly student needs that we can deploy that person, but we were trying to be as fiscally responsible as we could and only have that position be exactly the assignment. But I'm really more concerned in speaking with Larissa and Kelly about being not compliant with the student needs. We're doing our best to cover it now, but certainly our best isn't good enough if somebody were to have an issue with it. So I think that's the way we're going to go. We're going to post for it. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get someone, but if that opens up the door to more candidates, then so be it. And then just lastly, I have a small presentation on AI. And I know last week we had some dialogue about AI and a policy, and you'll notice that on this agenda, there's no policy. There's no urgency necessarily to it. But what is good is talking about the conversation, because it's evolving over time. And one of the things that I'm going to do with this, I'm going to be sharing this with the faculty and staff, but I found incredibly interesting at a recent conversation at a training I went to, was just talking about the new jobs that are going to be out there because of AI. Not necessarily just work that AI is replacing, but jobs that are being created because AI is not going anywhere anytime soon, whether or not people like it or not. So what is changing? AI is automating routine, repetitive tasks across all sorts of industries, from customer service to data entry to administrative work to getting in your car and your map tells you, without even knowing where you're going, it's predicting where you're going and telling you approximately how long it's going to be. The good news, rather than eliminating careers, AI will augment human work. So students must learn to use AI as a coworker and a tool that amplifies their capacities. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. This is the purpose of it. These are some of the new and emerging careers that we somehow, even though honestly, I don't even know what these are. I'm just learning about what they are. These are the things that our kids are going to be walking into and that we'll be considering new careers. AI communications, prompt engineer. Right now, prompt engineers, it's a 6-week course and people are walking out making well over 3 figures if they're good. So when we're talking about marketing for college and, should kids be going to college, they can take these micro credentials for 6-week courses and be prompt engineers. It's new. It's something, who would have thought, but they need them so quickly that going to a 4-year course of study to get a bachelor's degree in that is not where the industry is at. Ethical guardians, AI ethicists and auditors to ensure fairness, transparency, compliance, accuracy, as John was mentioning, of the appropriate use and the inappropriate use. So people doing that kind of work. Systems builders, multilingual engineers and solution architects designing and maintaining the AI infrastructure, the actual systems that you go into and where do they pull from and how do they get accurate information and how do they deliver it through. These are the things that our kids are going to have to interact with. I can barely read the words on the page, let alone knowing what those are. So I think it's just a really awesome awesome opportunity for us, and it's just almost overwhelming. So I'm just going to try to present every week that we are talking about this just a little bit more about it, because when you look at the portrait of the graduate for New York State, this is certainly in line with those things. And again, this just kind of goes through it a little bit, some different skills. But if you look at the New York State portrait of a graduate, data fluency and AI literacy are absolutely going to be an essential component of that, even though it's not explicitly spelled out. So we just want to make sure everybody knows more about that. We are trying to find professional development. We had a speaker scheduled to come in on opening days, and he ended up having to cancel on us. But now people are getting paid big money because everybody is desperately trying to figure out about AI and how to use it, how to not to use it, how to best use it, what does it mean? And it's just growing every day. So I don't know if there's any questions, but I don't know if there's anything that you'd like to learn more about that I can prepare for next time and have it ready for you, or we can just kind of take it as it comes. All right,
Quick question.
sure.
So in the board things that we get weekly or daily, it links to a whole bunch of things that are happening in New York State.
Mhm.
And then they give you things that are happening in, nationally, and so a lot of them link out to, like an ed tech magazine. But if you read, but if you don't have the,
Subscription?
yeah, you can only read one article. So I haven't, so is like, can we have, do you guys have those?
We may. I'll check with Michelle Furlong, who's our librarian, and we do have subscriptions to a lot of things. It's just a certain way you've got to log in.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll go and look and see if we have that. Like even something as simple as Times Union. We have employee and student access to
Yeah.
Times Union. So
Because there's been a ton of articles that they're linking on there, you know, specific to this topic, so it might be very relevant too, so.
the only other thing, and I don't have a good update for you now, but we were talking about it as people were coming in, is the traffic in the morning for both the elementary and the secondary school. President Goodenough had asked the question, have we ever had anybody come study it? And the answer is yes. And I just have to find it. Our architects have looked at it before, so has Questar Health and Safety, not only just like the layout and the procedures, even as recently as when we were getting ready for this capital project. Is there something should something be different with the way that lineup is? And there was no decision to make any changes from an architect standpoint, but even from a Questar Health and Safety. Somehow, we just really have to encourage our community members that are dropping off kids to follow some courtesy and some basic procedures, you know, not just stopping in the middle and wherever, you know, I really worry that somebody's going to get hurt unintentionally, especially like on a dark or dismal day, by just trying to go quick. So just something that's top of mind, but I'll try to bring something back to the board next week, just some of the recommendations, because I'm sure you get complaints about it as well. I know some of you actually participate in the drop off of your children as well, and you experience it on a daily basis. So any questions or comments on that, or anything else you'd like to know about morning drop off?
Be nice. That's probably my only request to people. Be nice.
Mr. Goodenough saw somebody yelling at me this morning when I was directing traffic, so he got to witness it firsthand. Any other questions? All right, I will turn it over to our wonderful administrators. I do want to mention, I did send Mrs. Lanu to the girls' soccer senior night. I excused her from being here tonight. Girls were last night, I'm sorry, at Aframs, which wasn't on site because we don't have a field. So she's not here, but I'm happy that she is with our boys. So I'll turn it over.
So we're actually getting live updates. Morgan, I saw you on this too. We are up 1-0 right now,
Oh.
so we're doing very well. We had the HVCC Guarantee Program Day today, which is the second year that's run. The first year, last year, there were 4 schools that fed into that, us being one of them. And we had 83 students last year that were guaranteed applicants and enrolled into HVCC. So I'm looking forward to seeing those numbers this year. We've started a bunch of our college visits coming in, and I'm just going to remind everyone to please use the Counseling Center link on the webpage because there's a lot of very important information in there. So make sure we're doing that. We have on October 22nd, St. Peter's Health Partners coming in to discuss Aaron's Law, which focuses on skills and recognition of bullying, relationships, issues like that. And depending upon the grade, the student gets different information, and that's done during specials. So that we're looking forward to. It is report card time. So starting tomorrow in the secondary school, the parents and students will be able to log into the portal and find out how they're doing 5 weeks in. And I'm sure everyone is doing very, very well. The musical has been announced, and I'm actually not going to tell you what it is because Mrs. Frank made a video and it is on her Facebook page. It is super cute, so you have to go on there and find it yourself.
I sent it to the board
Did you?
yesterday.
Good. And that's going to be for 6th through 12th graders. Everyone's going to be very excited when they hear what it is. We had a successful blood drive. I know that we had Dr. Maloney and Miss Lanu went, and it was a little bit longer than they anticipated, but we appreciate everyone doing that. We had community members come in too. It wasn't just students or faculty and staff, so that was nice to see. Middle school food drive is going on. There are 24 students signed up to take the PSATs on October 29th, which is great. And homecoming. Homecoming is a big focus right now. We have a different situation than we normally do. So homecoming is going to take place at Hoosick Falls. We have spectator buses going. We are encouraging all of our students to take those spectator buses. We have fun ideas to help everyone come together first and then go and celebrate the wins. Parking has come up. Hoosick Falls is used to having a lot of people come to their games. So they have a plan for that. We are set to go. There are pep rally events going to be taking place. The students are buying their t-shirts. Miss Lanu and I are very excited to make this year very, very special for the kids. So even though it's going to look different, we're going to make it very special. And that's what we have going on right now.
Thank you, Mrs. Norton.
Absolutely.
Mrs. Honorato?
So in the elementary school, we are in full fall swing. Tomorrow, we're going to have our annual fire prevention assemblies consistent with Fire Prevention Week, which is this week. We always look forward to Battalion 2 coming and giving our students lessons on fire safety and culminating with everyone's favorite, getting to get on the trucks and explore the trucks. Students always look forward to that. Deputy Wilbur has been working his way to every 3rd through 5th grade classroom to provide some digital safety lessons to students. With ubiquitous use of online, communication, whether it's text messaging or other messaging apps, some social media that even some elementary students are engaging with. It's more important than ever to really help students understand how to communicate, maybe how others might perceive some of their messages that are sent, and also just really how to keep themselves safe if they are using some of these online platforms. I think that's going pretty well, right, Deputy Director?
Yep, I did probably 10 classes, I got one more next week.
That's excellent. Yeah, and it's been very well received, and the students have seemed really engaged when they're in there. Yeah, it's been really great. Big thank you to our PTSA who coordinated our welcome back picnic that occurred since we last met. We had to do things a little bit differently this year because of ongoing construction, but it was still a wonderful evening, very well attended. I think people had a great time. We had some vendors that came and supported us, food trucks there. It was very much appreciated. We had our first lockdown drill this week, which is always announced to students and staff and families ahead of time. And that gives everybody a chance to engage in some good practice and be ready for these drills. The remaining 3 lockdown drills won't be announced, but the first drill went very, very smoothly. I was very pleased. Our law enforcement partners were very pleased. And a few of them stayed to hang out and play tag in the gym for a while afterwards. So stay tuned for my newsletter tomorrow for some pictures on that. It was great. And, I really reflected on that. I thought that was so nice that we do this safety drill that is kind of a serious thing. We really make it age appropriate and non-stressful, just kind of routine. But that the people that participate in this drill and aren't a part of our routine day kind of stay and just hang out and have fun and show kids that They're just big kids that like to have fun too. So that was very sweet and much appreciated that they took some extra time with our kids. And I think I'll wrap it up there.
Mrs. Fremont, do you have anything that you'd like to know that you've got a full month in?
Not as many fun things happening in the CSE office.
You don't say.
No, we're busy, but not as many fun things. Full swing with 504 and CSE meetings, which has been really nice for me to get to learn and meet students and families. And having case manager meetings, so setting up times, office hours to meet with the special education teachers and related service providers, so I can just, hear how their year is starting and talk with them about how things are going and any concerns or questions they have. So lots of meetings, keeping us busy.
You've also had an opportunity, we've been short due to some illnesses and some things, some of our aides and teaching assistants. So Larissa has actually stepped in and done some of that to help out. And it's actually been great for her to get to know some of those students that she didn't develop their plan, but now she can see it in action, which has been great. All right, next up, Alina.
Thank you. So there is actually a lot going on this month. Our senior shirts are finally done and they're being bought. The middle schoolers had a back to school dance, which went very well. I heard from my brother personally. He was very excited about that. 6th grade, Picture day went very well. Honestly, I had to take them in scrubs. I wasn't that prepared. It was so fun though. Grafton Lake on the 18th, there's going to be a Halloween event that some NHS students are going to be attending, and it's going to be like a little party from what I know, and there's going to be candy. The pep rally is on the Friday of homecoming, which a lot of people are excited about. One thing I'm very excited to mention is Miss Jackson Lands, our food service director, has come up with a website where she's going to be posting all of our ingredients for our lunches and our food. And she said that this is a very good way for parents and students alike to be able to access what their students are going to be eating, like alternate meals that their students can have. And it'll just be a very nice resource to be able to access. And another thing I'd like to mention is me, Miss Norton, and Gianna Shea are going to be pulling together a nice survey to give out to people via Google Forms. And it's going to be about the experience that people have at the school and then what they would like the experience to be. There you go. Thank you.
Do you want my job? You're really good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alina.
All right, that brings us to section 4 of our agenda. Do I do these separately because they're both actions that we need to take? So first I need a motion where we will approve the replacement of the school district signage and supporting incidental improvements. It's all in there. It's around the seeker filing. I don't think, Stephanie, you need me worded the whole thing out as long as it's in the notes, correct? For the seeker resolution?
No, he doesn't have to read it. No.
Good.
Oh, no, you don't have to read it.
Okay.
No.
Double checking. So I do need a motion. Janine and Zach seconded. Any discussion, comments, questions? Angelina, any context?
Just for the students here, this is a report that we're required to make to say any kind of capital project or anything that we do, whether it's big like the field or putting up a sign, we just have to share what the environmental impact is. So this classifies what our next small project's going to be and what the environmental impact would be. So that's all this is.
Yep. All right, with that in consideration, all those in favor of the motion, say aye. All right, the ayes have it. So that carries. And then the second 4.2 is related to the external audit presentation that we heard at the beginning of the meeting. The motion would be for us to accept the summary that we received, I think twice today already. Again, it covers that period that ended June 30th, 2025. So I do need a motion. Tammy, seconded. Danielle. Any discussion, comments, questions that we haven't already covered? No. Okay. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Ayes have it. All right, and that is adopted. Brings us to section 5, which is around board reports. Audit and finance, obviously, we just covered that. Facilities, I believe we had a pretty exhaustive update there. Anything from any of the other committees? Communications. Jenna, do you want to provide an update on our meeting?
Yeah, so we met as a communications subcommittee this evening, just talking about some of the changes we'd like to see to inform our community, communicate with our community, our parents, the students. So there will be some small updates that we'll be making gradually and rolling out over time. Some of the first updates you may see might just be in the weekly newsletters that come from the building principals, and maybe a couple small changes that you'll see to our Facebook page, and just gradually some slow changes over time. And we'll be looking for input from the community and from parents as well for that moving forward on what some of the asks are from the community on how they'd like to receive their communication and what kind of things they'd like to see changes made to.
On policy, I just wanted to add, we're doing the AI policy we're discussing right now. A lot of our policies really come from the state or state mandated, and it's not a local policy. This is going to be a local policy, much like we did with our athletic eligibility policy. We're going to spend time, try to learn as much as we can about it, and try to come up with the best policy we can that makes sense for everyone. Not everyone is always going to be happy with every policy that we come up with. There's going to be some that really like it, some don't, but we're going to take our time and really try to do the best. We're in really no rush to have a policy adopted or voted on. We're really trying to learn a lot right here as we proceed, so.
Thank you. Let's see, policy communications, curriculum and assessment. I believe there's a meeting next week, the 15th. And try to make sure one of us can attend that. Anything from the wellness committee?
No, we're in the, and Stephanie and I mostly do this for the district, just participating in the regional conversations and making sure that there's communication out to the staff. So there, I think there's is it this month? There's a wellness committee member. So for the regional area, so we might have a little bit something, but we haven't gotten together locally.
And then the NYSBA annual business meeting is next week or the week after. Zach and John will be traveling down for that. John is our alternate for a voting delegate. I'll join virtually if I can't make it because my computer doesn't work. John will be there in person, and obviously Zach and John will sharing updates. I think, John, you're going a day early?
Yes, there's a law convention, pre-law. It just goes over a lot of what school boards are empowered to do legally. So it should be a really great seminar. Looking forward to it, and so I'll bring back what I learned.
John's going to ask what we can do about beaver removal.
Yeah.
Mostly. All right, Zach, anything from PTSA? All right.
Meeting next week.
Yes. All right. Any other committee updates? And Tammy, we did discuss the ad hoc athletics meeting, so we'll get that scheduled. All right. For policy, this is just a discussion. Our lawyer had reviewed our public participation policy and made some changes. This is essentially a first read for us. Just going to open it up for discussion. I think Danielle, you had one observation. You wanna share that?
It has two public comment sessions. We only need one section, yes.
We can make that edit for next time.
Yep. Any other edits or comments? All right. So do take a look. If there's anything else that we need to change, we can make that. But I think this is a pretty straightforward one that we'll bring back to the next board meeting for approval. All right, that brings us to section 7, which is, what is it? Quite a few subsections. 7 dot, you have that in front of you, Angelina? 7 dot.
7.1 and 7.2.
Yep, all right, 7.1, 7.2, need a motion to review those recommendations from special education. Kevin, seconded by Tammy. Any discussion?
I'll just mention on 7.1, those are contracts for services that we are either unable to due to the expertise or we don't have the capacity to conduct. They'll either be special assessments or specialized training. So there you're looking at for assistive technology for the first one. Parsons to be the family, to be the agency that's going to be contracting for services for us, and then child neuropsychological services for independent evaluators.
Any comments on 7.2? Maybe just, would you explain to the greater public the reason why there are just a bunch of numbers on that page?
There's a bunch of numbers on this page?
Yes.
Right, because we had a lot of meetings and we are just approving the programs and services that we had those meetings for. And
Yep. So, I mean, I bring it up because as a board, we don't know any of the specifics behind any of those numbers. So we take them all up for adoption. All right, so discussion's closed. We'll move to approve these. So all in favor of approving 7.1 and 7.2? Aye. All right, ayes have it. Carries. All right, that brings us to section 8.1 through 8.8. Can I get a motion to bring all 8 of those sections up for approval? John, Jenna, Angelina, any discussion here?
No, these are pretty monthly type appointments, substitute coaching, tutoring, et cetera. The one thing though I will note is 8.7. I just would like to thank, we have several teachers in our district that go above and beyond and teach an additional section beyond their contractual hours. And it's to benefit kids. In this particular case, Mr. Medved has an experience with speaking Russian. And as you know, we lost our Russian teacher. So he is able to utilize his skill from a former life in the military to be able to provide that for kids. So that's just one example. We have several teachers doing that.
Any further discussion? All right. All in favor, please say aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Brings us to section 8. Section 9, which is the finance reports, 9.1. Need a motion for us to, let's see, where am I? Accept and approve those financial reports. Zach, second, Danielle. Any discussion, comments, questions?
Just for people that are in the audience, we don't normally have this many months, but when you are wrapping up a year and starting a new year, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to actually close those books. So that's why in this particular month, you'll see things from June, July, and August as they were finally approved, and we'll get back on a little bit more of a regular schedule. We can't send them to you until they've gone through our internal process. I just want to thank you for those of you that took time to go through and really ask the questions. This is a really important piece of the work that you do as school board members, so I appreciate the comments, and I know Stephanie does as well. Happy to answer any of those questions so that you understand what you're actually approving.
Yeah, I just had one quick question because I'm still understanding this, and thank you, Stephanie, for answering all of my previous questions. But just kind of looking at where that, I'm going to call it a surplus for forgetting what the other term is. But like if you can just kind of tell us like where does that surplus go and what are we doing with that surplus? And
Sure.
Yeah.
So, every year, obviously, we have our expenditure budget, we have our revenue budget. So we get a surplus if our revenues exceed our expenditures, which often they do. Not everything we budget for is exactly like it ends, like we think it's going to. A lot of things are our best estimates. One of the areas that's really volatile, I guess, would be special ed. That can change wildly. So we may think that, we have 5 kids in a BOCES placement, but we get 2 in. So that can really swing our our numbers and add and decrease our fund balance. We may have 2 kids that leave the district. They may be in placements that cost $100,000 each, so that's going to increase our fund balance. So things change along the year. And at the end of the year, we look again at our revenues and expenditures. And if our revenues exceed our expenditures, we end up with fund balance. So this year, I believe it was our August meeting, we had 2 resolutions and we put money into our capital reserve. And we put a little bit of money into our ERS reserve. The bulk of the money went into that capital reserve. That capital reserve we've been using for a number of years. We just actually set up a new one a few years ago. That money is used for future capital projects and it offsets the tax burden to our taxpayers. So that's how we've been using that. And it's, I think, a great way to give back to our taxpayers so that we can do projects with less of a tax burden. To your question.
And what was the other one? You said there was the capital one, and what was the other fund?
Employees retirement,
ERS.
ERS. So that's our employees, yeah.
So that's the non-teacher, the non-certificated employees, they go into the New York State Employees Retirement System.
And
Okay,
then there's also our appropriated fund balance, and that's to offset the budget.
okay. And then how do you make the decision as to where that money is gonna go when you have that surplus?
I mean, I think it's been a priority for us to put it into the capital reserve. We set one of those up a few years ago, a new one, for future capital reserve planning, for future capital planning. And it, like I said, it offsets the burden to our taxpayers. So I think that's been, something we've.
I think, and when she says we, I think because it's been talked about in audit and finance. So the audit and finance committee kind of reports the entire board, but because of the large capital project that we have now and the small ones that we've been doing over time, it was a priority to be funding that so that we could keep up with general maintenance of the building over time without having a huge burden to the taxpayers.
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other discussion, questions? All right, not seeing. All in favor of accepting and approving those financial reports? Aye, ayes have it. That carries, and that brings us to public comment. For the first time this year, I won't read through them because every time I do, no one has any comments. So we're not going to read them. You're going to read them. But Maureen, any folks that we have signed up?
Allie?
I'm Allie Lafra. My address is 179 Wayne Church Road. My question is, we talked about like the positives of AI. What are like the worries and the negatives of having AI in the classroom?
There's a lot of worries. I wouldn't even be able to get to start. I'll just start mine. I worry that people are going to become too dependent. I worry that people are going to take false information and think that that's accurate. So that's a worry of mine, for sure.
Thank you.
Rebecca. My name is Rebecca Barbera. My address is 100 Wilrose Lane. My question is that, is it possible that Hoosick Falls would unmerge with us if the numbers keep decreasing on our end?
I think anything's possible. I don't personally think it's probable right now, and there's been no talk of it, but the mergers are approved on a year-to-year basis, for sure.
Gianna?
Hi, I'm Gianna. I'm a student here. My question is regarding with AI. So we talked a lot about like possible seminars for teachers and everything like that. Would it be moving forward teaching the students the proper ways to get information and things like that? Because I know in the past it's always been very looked down upon and almost discriminated against to use AI and seen in such a negative light. Would it just be changed to teach the students, or would it just be students left to their own?
Certainly teaching the students, and I think the adults have to kind of wrap their arms around it too, so that they feel confident enough to be able to show you the pros and the cons and to work through it. And then certainly, just like any tool, how to use it best. So we're starting right now with Deputy Loper going in and teaching the younger kids across the way about digital citizenship. This would be just another arm of that. But we want to make sure that everybody that's doing it feels really well equipped, just like their subject area, that they know how to do it.
Would it be used as a tool as well?
What do you mean by that?
Like, would it be used as, say, for like research projects, we're often taught to find and fact check things like that. Would AI be considered taught to be used as a tool as well, or would it still be kind of pushed to the back burner?
I think that's to be determined about what that would look like for our district.
That's it.
All right, I do need a motion to adjourn. Kevin, Tammy, everyone in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Anybody in favor of Bell Napoli cookies in honor of
I am.
school
Yeah.
board
Yes,
week?
we are. All right, thank you very much.
Tell you one thing.
Yes, I have.
Oh, you do, good. I have no idea. I assume Angelina, I don't know for sure.
I didn't think that.
No, never.
Yeah, I have a meeting.
Oh, what's the software? One nothing after it.
Essentially,
About half. I'm just as bad. Oh, you take this on you? And then I'll try to back it.
Not the same without him. Oh, I didn't talk to you yesterday today, so I didn't get into like.
My mom wants.
What I mentioned, I wanted to message you about how we're gonna make it.
God. That is so funny.
As soon as I saw the picture, I was like, that's I know, because I've used the phone.
I got it. That's so funny.
Okay.
Got
Big time today.
So we're just gonna figure out a time when we can get all the like, including kids.
You're here in the morning, correct? Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
I'm not really super.
I know, you said I know, I saw you, I was like, you probably have no idea. I was like, yeah, I'll figure it out.
This is not what she's been like.
You were doing something though. You said it's my first meeting.
Meeting.
It's good for Rebecca to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it breaks it down. You can actually. Okay, this is.
And again, I think that's just.
Yeah, I know. You're joking. I thought you were gonna.
Oh,
You're
I'm ready. Once you send me those texts, that'll trigger everything else.
Nice to see you, how are you?
Is there another one?
Really?
You're not usually there. I know, so I've been out like the past few days. I'm pretty good at it, but I was wearing, I think it's supposed to be hard.
Instead of summer as a challenge.
I was like, listen.
Yep. And the day that